Greetings mates, welcome to another episode of Pirates 365. Now today I'll be discussing something that I talked about before, the novelization. And no, I'm not going to do another review of it. I haven't run out of ideas that bad. But I want to talk about things that were left out of the film that are in the book, that I wish they would have kept. Now again, there will be spoilers to the film, so if you haven't seen it or if you don't want to be spoiled by the film, why haven't you seen it, mate? Anyways, so the other book, there's lines and different small scenes that they could have left in. There's like little quotes or little pieces of the story that I wish they would have left in the film. And maybe some of these scenarios were not filmed at all, they were just in the script, but if you haven't read the book yet, I would recommend reading it because it gives more insight and more flesh to the story overall. So let's begin. So there's a point I like in this book, I might have mentioned this in my review, where Jack's crew mentions that he's afraid of his sword and he thinks it's cursed. There's a point in the book where like his sword falls and follows him around like it's gonna slice him, and I think that's a fun aspect of the book. And it makes me wonder if Angelica cursed the sword with her voodoo doll, since as far as we know Angelica still has the voodoo doll of Jack, so maybe she was able to curse the sword to follow him around. That would have been a cool storytelling aspect. It didn't add much to the story overall, but it was just a fun little thing in the book. Another part of the story, there's just a little interaction between Jack and Henry when Henry draws a sword. Lighten a grip, he advised, turning Henry's hand slightly. Square the pommel, front leg bent. He waited for Henry to bend his right leg slightly. Then he nodded. Much better. Now run me through. What? Henry said, startled. Jack nodded again. One quick strike should kill me, he said, or if you'd like, I could get a running start and hop on that blade. And that's kind of a foreshadowing to something later on in the book when Jack sees Henry coming at him with a sword. He notices how good he is with the sword, and that's when he realizes that Salazar's possessing Henry. He's like, wait a second, Henry was never good with the sword, and Salazar's like slashing at him, so it's a nice little moment there. In the film, Jack says, the next time you brandish a sword, be the last to die. And in the novel, he says it later on in the book when Henry's trying to fight with Salazar and with the whole trident business. Another nice little line that I like from the novel is when the seas split, Jack says, the backside of water, not something you see every day. And I think that was a personal reference to the Jungle Cruise, when in the ride you see the backside of water, and the skipper makes a joke about that, so I wonder if Jeff Nathanson threw that in just as a cheeky reference to that because he went to Disneyland to research the ride. Maybe he went on Jungle Cruise and thought that was just a cheeky little line to throw in there, so maybe we'll get that in deleted scenes. And there's also a moment towards the end before they find the trident. When the pearl lands on the land where the trident is found, Jack and some of the crew go down on land, and one pirate takes a ruby out of the ground, or one of the stars out of the ground, and the land opens up and the pirate falls down and dies. And Henry saves Karina from falling down the same crevasse. So I thought that was a nice little fun scene in the book, and Jack keeps referring to them as killer rocks. So that would have been funny to keep in the film. And one of the last ones I want to mention is when the pearl comes back in the book. After Barbossa throws the pearl into the water, and they think it's sunk, Jack says, like in the movie, she was a fine ship. Jack said after a moment, as fine as any that ever sailed, Barbossa agreed. And I was waiting for that line in the film, but Barbossa never said it. I kind of wish he would have, but alas. There were a lot of things that were kept out of the movie that were in the book. So again, if you have not read it, I recommend reading it as soon as you can. It gives more details into the story. Even at the beginning, Elizabeth is in the beginning. In the book, you don't meet her. She's just behind a door, asking if Henry's there. It's just little details like that that I love that are in the book. If you learned something new about Pirates 5, please like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you soon with a brand new video. And remember, it's a pirate's life for me, mates. Ta.